Good morning, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. I'm going to leave a link down in the description for you guys to an article. It says something like titled Fed Says Hiring Trouble Hinders Growth, something like that. Anyway, I can totally believe this. I took a trip down to Newport over the last couple of days, and Newport's about 2 hours south of Astoria. About halfway down, we decided that we were going to stop and get something to eat. I was like, hey, why don't you Google some restaurants? We'll sit down and get something to eat and cruise on into Newport. Could not find a place to sit down. Nowhere. Every restaurant that we had gone to had lines out the doors, had takeout only, or had already shut down. And I thought to myself, why in the world would you be shut down on the Oregon coast at 7 o'clock in the middle of July? That doesn't make any sense. So we stopped at a grocery, got something to munch on, and we decided that we'll just cruise on into Newport and get something once we got into Newport. Now, along the way, we saw all the fast food restaurants had $15 an hour plus $500 sign-on bonuses. And a lot of them were shut down. A lot of restaurants, places that should have been open for business, we could not get any food from. And I thought, man, this is crazy. This is the time of season that you would want to be open. And yet they're shut down due to the lack of staffing. One of the restaurants here in Astoria had shut down over the 4th of July weekend, saying that they wanted to give their staff a break. Now, if I know anything about the restaurant industry inside of a touristy area, the 4th of July is probably one of your top 5 weeks. And to say that, you're going to shut down to give your staff a break is really like, that's awesome, to help your staff out like that, especially if you're understaffed and they've been working really hard all summer long. That's pretty cool of you to do. But really, if I know anything about the waitresses and bartenders who've worked in my family, they really like the holiday weekends. Like, the holiday weeks are where they make the most tips, and they're excited about going to work those days. They know it's going to be hard work, but they are excited about the tips. So it's kind of like a trade-off. And to say, like, yeah, we're giving our staff a break, well, that might not have been a great deal for a lot of the staff who looks forward to getting the extra boost in tips for being the holiday week. And I heard of another, just recently, a lady had scheduled 9 interviews for her business. One showed up. Half an hour late, really didn't want the job. So this lack of staffing is really starting to hurt these businesses, and it's obvious now. They've increased the wages, $15 an hour to go to McDonald's. Don't tell me that they haven't raised the rates. Okay, the wages have gone up. I mean, I remember when I started working, it was $4.50 an hour. Now, I know things are all relative to the time and inflation and blah, blah, blah that goes on, right? But we're talking $15 an hour to really have a pretty easy job to do. I mean, they're not asking you to do much. And that's a pretty good sign-on bonus of $500. I even saw a sign-on bonus for $6,500 if you have credentials to be a school bus driver. $6,500 sign-on bonus to be a school bus driver. I was like, oh my goodness, that's incredible. Anyway, I got to go into work here in just a minute. But anyway, what did I want to add to this? Oh, the dual mandate. So this is really what it comes down to, is that the Federal Reserve has this dual mandate where they are going to stay accommodative so long as the unemployment numbers stay relatively high. And what they are looking for is for the unemployment numbers to come down to a level that then says to them that they have reached this full employment. Now, when I look at all the help wanted signs out there, it leads me to believe that we are at full employment. And if you were to turn off that unemployment benefits, that you would have your full employment that they are looking for. Now, I told my wife, I said, listen, this is obviously going to be a deflationary scenario, and the Federal Reserve is going to have to deal with that. They are looking for inflation, and they are not finding it. And they are still not going to find it, especially if people don't go back to work. When the people go back to work, that is when we're going to start seeing the inflation that the Federal Reserve is looking for. But they're not going back to work because they still have these unemployment benefits. And they're going to find themselves out of work because a lot of businesses are going to end up shutting down if they cannot find the business or find the time to be open during business hours when they should be. What am I trying to say here? When they should be open and they're not, that is going to hurt them. That is a deflationary environment. So you think about the semiconductors slowing car sales. You think about the inventory of houses. That's slowing house sales. When you have this deflationary environment taking place, that is going to start slowing the economy down. And I know the Federal Reserve is looking at that. I told my wife, I said, this is obviously going to be a deflationary thing, and she says to me, and I got to go into work, so I just wanted to say this one thing to you. But she says to me, she goes, well, I don't know what you see, but when I see the majority of the working capable people on unemployment benefits and half the businesses are shut down, that's a depression. And I thought, oh my gosh, you're right. Anyway, I got to go into work. I wish I could keep talking because I feel like I kind of left that one hanging. But Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know.